This is Energetic Eats, brought to you by the Fort St. John Co-op. You're at home here.
I'm very excited for this edition because we have Devrey from Whole Wheat and Honey Café joining us this morning. Good morning, Devrey.
Good morning.
Thank you for making the long walk here. We're going to talk all about your wonderful cafe. I've been going there basically since I moved here, and even before I moved here, when I lived in Chetwynd, we heard about Whole Wheat and Honey. So we're going to talk a bit about that in a minute as well. But I thought we'd start with kind of the history of this cafe. If you could tell us a bit about it, because it wasn't always in the heart of downtown. It's always been downtown, I guess, but it has moved a bit, eh?
Yeah, so it used to be in a different location, but it wasn't the best location for it. They couldn't make it through a lunch rush without blowing the breakers. So they decided a new location was needed. And then Marie and her team at that time relocated to the location that they're at now. So I think it was at 6 months about at the previous location, and then almost 15 years now.
Wow.
Where we are now today.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
And you've kind of owned it in the last 6 or so years.
Yes, that's correct.
Yeah, okay. So what brought you to own this business? Were you someone who wanted to be a restaurateur or a cafe owner? Was this something you kind of dreamed of, or was it an opportunity that you're let's give it a shot?
Well, I always really enjoyed cooking, and that's kind of what led me to Whole Wheat and Honey. It was one of my favorite restaurants, so I wanted to cook at one of my favorite places in town and be proud of the food that I was making. And so I started working at the cafe in the kitchen, and then eventually it kind of led to me gonna take over the cafe in a managerial role. And I made a joke to the owner, like, well, one day I'll buy it from you. And she's like, well, why don't you buy it now? And I'm like, no. And then she kept kind of throwing it out there. And eventually we kind of came to an agreement. And and so that was about 6 years ago now.
Okay.
Yeah.
Then would you say, kind of on the menu standpoint, because you guys, breakfast and lunch is kind of what you do. And then, of course, coffee and kind of hot beverages and other beverages too. Is the menu kind of your kind of invention, or is there still stuff that's held over from even before your time there?
Oh, yeah. The menu's actually been very similar since, I think, the beginning. Few little tweaks, and we will make a couple more tweaks here in the near future. But basically, it was Marie's original menu, and it's pretty much stayed the same. It's a pretty solid menu. I think there are a few things that we could tweak and improve on, but it's been just a real staple and really, delicious and healthy and food that everyone can enjoy. So
yeah, absolutely. And I do want to say, I've noticed, and tell me if I'm wrong, your daily special is always very different. I don't see a lot of repeats in that, or if there is, it's not like it's Monday is taco day or anything like that. You guys change that up quite a bit, don't you?
Yes, we do. So we do a we plan it for the month, and we try to plan it more seasonal based. If we'll be coming, I guess, into produce growing season soon, so then we'll sometimes connect with our local produce growers and try to create some specials that can feature their items as well. So yeah, it's different. There's definitely some repeat items on there, but we just definitely try to make it for the seasons and what people are kind of craving, or any trends that are happening in the food industry.
Yeah, I know you guys are really about local, because I think I've seen local honey on sale there. Of course, you've got your display with lots of local artists who have albums you sell there. It's not food, but still.
Yeah.
You guys try to really focus on local. I know in the past, too, you've kind of had nights where you had open mics and stuff as well. So you've always tried to really keep it kind of local there, haven't you?
Yeah, so we definitely try to, as much as we possibly can. It'd be nice if we had a growing season all year round. But that's not where we live. So, we have things like fresh farm eggs all the time. Yeah. Yes, our local honey supplier. We get our coffee beans are actually quite unique and special in the sense that they are purchased through the Café Femenino project, and that is all by female growers throughout the world. And so that's a pretty cool project to be a part of. And then they're paid a premium above, a fair trade standard. And then our coffee roaster is on Quadra Island in BC. And she also does small batch roasting. So the coffee is nice and fresh, and we get that delivered every 2 weeks. So our coffee beans are really fresh. So we're proud of that as well. And they're also all organic beans. And then, we try to connect with as many produce growers as we can throughout the seasons. And then also our meat is also from Butcher Block as well. So as local as we can in this region. Yeah.
Absolutely. All right. Well, let's talk about some of you brought samples, which was very nice of you. I've got a latte here this morning I'm holding up. And I've also got, I'm going to try and hold this up for the camera if you happen to be watching the video. This is, I want to just call it a breakfast croissant. Is that the official name for it?
Well, we call it our Denver, so that's how you'd find it on the menu. But yeah, it's a breakfast croissant.
Enormous croissant.
Yes, and Melanie, one of our chefs / baker extraordinaire, makes the croissants fresh in house. So they are pretty delicious.
Yeah, it looks, and there's some sauteed vegetables on there. It looks like ham. And of course, your egg, which you gotta have on a breakfast croissant. So let me try it now.
Absolutely, yes, yeah. So we're pretty lucky. Melanie loves to bake, and so she will take the time to make all sorts of different baking, kind of spoil us a little. Yeah.
Yeah, because you also have, excuse me while I chew on this, but like different baking every day, right? You'll have a muffin, maybe a scone. Something else, and that changes basically every day of the week as well, eh?
Absolutely. So every day we'll have our muffins, our scones, and our cinnamon buns. And then if we can, we'll definitely add more. So if we're adding cookies or cake or, one of the other ones is absolutely delicious. That was also a Melanie creation, was the whole wheat and honey pie.
Okay.
So that is a whole wheat and honey crust with a kind of like a honey custard filling on the inside, and it is it's one of those ones that you only want to take one piece of because you might eat the whole thing.
Hard to cook that and not just eat the whole thing.
Exactly.
Or bake it, I should say.
Yes.
I mean, that's outstanding. It the sauteed vegetables remind me of your breakfast burrito, which I'm a big fan of. Add a little hot sauce. That's what I like, and it's just outstanding. And of course, that croissant is, first of all, it's huge, like I said, and just delicious and flaky and all that good stuff to get in there.
Thank you.
You guys have lots of breakfast items. What time do you serve them till usually?
Till 11.
Okay.
Yes.
And then your lunch kind of after that. And of
Absolutely.
course, sandwiches, soups. Your soup of the day usually changes as well quite a bit.
Yes. So our soup of the day, we make those every morning, and then they rotate through. So sandwiches as well. We change up the cheese and the meat, but they're, always built with the spinach, red onions, tomato, and then toasted. And we get our bread from Cobb's Bread. So it's nice fresh bread as well. So just trying to put the best ingredients possible together to make the best food. So.
Absolutely. All right. Well, if you want to check out Whole Wheat and Honey, again, they're on, you can't miss them, 100th Street and 100th Ave. Of course, open during construction.
Absolutely.
You're maybe missing some parking on 100th Street, but you could still go in there and enjoy views, at least south.
Yeah.
And sit down and have a cup of coffee. What time are you guys open till every day?
We're open till 3:00 every day.
Okay. Yeah. And you open 7-ish, I think?
We open at 6:30 Monday to Friday, and then on Saturdays we are open at 9. And then on Saturdays as well, you can get our eggs Benny, which is all made from scratch and incredibly delicious. So.
I can imagine. I'll have to try
Yes.
that. All right, Devrey. Well, I really appreciate you taking a few minutes to chat with us, and thanks for bringing the
Thank
samples
you.
too. I appreciate
My
it.
pleasure.
Again, Whole Wheat and Honey, 100th Street and 100th Ave in Fort St. John. Can't miss it. Check them out. If you've never been there, you are missing out. Energetic Eats is brought to you by the Fort St. John Co-op.
Let's take a listen to some homegrown